The Indiana Fever went to Minnesota to play the Lynx with 5 players already out with injuries: Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Khloe Bivens, Sydney Colson, Ari McDonald. Odyssey Sims, who was also hurt, played anyway just to give them a chance. Then the referees made the worst call of the night. Lexi Hull took an elbow to the face from Kayla McBride, but the refs called the foul on Hull. From the sidelines, Caitlin Clark was furious. If you thought the team's injuries were bad, the officiating seems to be making their fight for the playoffs even harder. Do you think the referees are against the Fever? Let us know in the comments. It feels like every game in the WNBA, someone is getting hurt. And there don't seem to be any solid plans to stop all this rough play. Imagine playing one of the best teams in the league when more than half of your team can't play. That's what Indiana was dealing with. Caitlin Clark has been out for over a month with a groin injury. Sophie Cunningham is out for the season with a knee tear. And so is Sydney Colson with a torn ACL. Ari McDonald is also out for the season with a foot injury. And Khloe Bivens is dealing with a knee problem. That's 5 key players gone. Odyssey Sims, a player signed to fill in, was not even fully healthy but had to play because the team was so short-handed. Just reading that injury list is tiring, so imagine trying to play a professional game with that many people missing. It seems like a new player gets hurt every day. This wave of injuries didn't just take away star players. It destroyed the team's entire game plan. Their main guards were all gone, leaving players like Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell to carry a huge weight. Just 2 nights earlier, also against Minnesota, Hull had to play 37 minutes and scored 23 points because there was no one else to step in. That wasn't a choice. It was a necessity. When you have to rely on players to do more than they ever have, every moment of the game feels like a struggle. Hull was asked if she expected to play nearly the whole game. She said, "Yeah, we're down people, so you have to suck it up, play a little tired, and use the timeouts as best you can. Everyone has to do a little more." The team has been signing players to short-term contracts just to have enough bodies on the court. Petty had just arrived before being thrown into the game. Odyssey Sims was playing through her own injuries. And Aerial Powers was another new player who had to play big minutes without any time to practice with her new teammates. It's incredibly hard for a team to play well together when new players are constantly coming in and trying to learn on the fly. Even Coach Stephanie White said the other team's physical play was more than her shorthanded team could handle. Still, Kelsey Mitchell did everything she could, scoring 26 points and trying to keep the Fever in the game by herself. But one player can only do so much when the rest of the team is made up of recent fill-ins. It feels like the Fever are having a season from hell, where even the temporary players they bring in are getting hurt. This loss wasn't because they didn't try. It was because they were in an impossible situation. But as tough as the injuries were, the referees made things even worse. Lexi Hull, who was already playing huge minutes, was defending Kayla McBride. McBride swung her arms to get free and hit Hull with a sharp elbow to the face. Hull went down hard, and it looked like an obvious foul on McBride. But instead of punishing McBride, the refs called the foul on Hull, the player who got hit. The whole arena was shocked. Hull was checking her jaw, and the play was reviewed. Fans thought the review would fix the mistake, but it only made things more confusing. The refs upgraded the foul a little, but didn't hold McBride fully responsible. Hull was clearly hit in the face and was in pain, but her team was the one that got punished. How does that make sense? On social media, Fever fans were angry. They wondered if it was just one bad call or if the referees are treating Indiana differently. Time and again, when a Fever player takes a hard hit, the call doesn't seem to go their way. It's creating a feeling that the league is letting other teams be extra physical against them, when a team is already missing half its players. The last thing they need is for the officials to make it even harder. Minnesota played a physical style all night, which is allowed. The problem was that when Indiana tried to play just as tough, they didn't get the same calls. Coach White even suggested that the game was being called differently for each team. Anyone watching could see it. When Fever players drove to the basket, they were bumped with no foul, but a small touch on the other end would get a whistle. This wasn't just a missed call. It felt like a sign that the system was working against them. But instead of giving up, the shorthanded Fever kept fighting. You would expect a team with so many players out to give up early, but Indiana didn't. Kelsey Mitchell scored 26 points and kept the team in the game until she ran out of energy. The big surprise was Shea Petty, who had just joined the team. She scored 16 points off the bench, playing like she'd been there all season. For a player signed as an emergency fill-in, she looked like she belonged. Aaliyah Boston also played tough defense, not letting the Lynx control the paint even when she was being double-teamed. She didn't score a lot, but her presence was a steadying force for a team held together by short-term players. Everyone also remembered what Lexi Hull did the game before, scoring 23 points in 37 minutes. Her willingness to step up gave the team a chance. That's why fans can't stop thinking about what will happen when Caitlin Clark finally returns. If this shorthanded team can compete with playoff-level teams, what could they do with a healthy star player? Right now, Indiana is in 8th place, barely holding on to a playoff spot. They refuse to give up, but everyone knows there's one player who can change everything. The biggest question is, when will Caitlin Clark be back? There's only one person who can pull the Fever out of this mess, and she was just seen back on the practice court. Clark was with the team in Minnesota, not playing, but moving around with her teammates again. Just seeing her there changed the mood. For a team beaten down by injuries, seeing her in uniform was a sign of hope. This team needs Caitlin Clark back badly. Without her, they are not a playoff team. They are relying on Kelsey Mitchell to have huge games every night just to stay in. The fight. Her return can't come soon enough. The Fever have a 19-18 record and are just one game ahead of the team behind them. With only 7 games left to play, their upcoming games are against tough teams, and every loss puts their playoff chances at risk. We recently got the best sign yet, bet. Clark is close to returning because she was seen at a team shoot-around. She's not back to full practice yet, but she is on the court with her teammates. Coach White has said she hopes Clark will be back before the end of the regular season. The team's struggles without Clark are obvious. There's no one running the offense or drawing defenders to create open shots for others. Mitchell can score and Boston can control the paint, but neither is a true playmaker. Without Clark, the offense looks disconnected. That's why every video of Clark practicing gets so much attention online. Fans are desperate for any sign that she'll be back soon because they know the playoff race is getting tight. Clark doesn't just bring points. She makes everyone around her better. She creates easier shots for Boston and Mitchell and makes Indiana look like a real playoff team again. No fill-in player can do that. Her comeback is the difference between making the playoffs and going home. But can one player, even Caitlin Clark, fix everything that's working against this team? The Fever are fighting 2 battles at once: their opponents and the endless string of injuries and bad calls. It's enough to wear any team down. Can Clark's return be enough to overcome all of it? No matter what happens, the fight this team has shown will be remembered. Do you think the referees are against the Fever? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out.